In December 2019, reports of many people developing deadly pneumonia surfaced. It was soon after where it was discovered to be implications from the now known coronavirus, COVID-19, stemming from SARS-CoV-2. The name coronavirus is due to the spike proteins on the cell. COVID-19 spreads easily from person to person, attacking the throat and lungs, continuing to use living cells to reproduce. Here's what happens when virus SARS-CoV-2 is introduced to a living cell.
Once inside your body, the virus comes in contact with cells in your throat, nose, or lungs. One spike on the virus inserts into a receptor molecule on your healthy cell membrane like a key in a lock. This action allows the virus to get inside your cell. A typical flu virus would travel inside a sac made from your cell membrane to your cell's nucleus that houses all its genetic material. The coronavirus, on the other hand, doesn't need to enter the host cell nucleus. It can directly access parts of the host cell called ribosomes. Ribosomes use genetic information from the virus to make viral proteins, such as the spikes on the virus's surface. A packaging structure in your cell then carries the spikes in vesicles, which merge with your cell's outer layer, the cell membrane. All the parts needed to create a new virus gather just beneath your cell's membrane. Then, a new virus begins to bud off from the cell's membrane.
SARS-CoV-2 has been mutating and creating new emerging variants. CDC's National Genomic Surveillance Program identifies new and emerging SARS-CoV-2 variants to determine implications for COVID-19. These variants are rapidly changing and have seen to be more infectious. Here's what we know about the variants.
Variants are complicated. Each one is made up of a collection of mutations, all of which have the potential to change the SARS-CoV-2 virus in unexpected ways. Some variants are faster spreading, and there are hints that certain mutations could start to weaken or even evade natural and vaccine-derived immunity. For example, the D614G mutation, known to virologists as DUG, spread widely in the early days of the pandemic and can be seen in almost all variants. It affects the spike protein that coronavirus particles use to penetrate cells. A mutation in the genome changes one amino acid for another and makes the new variant more infectious than the original virus. N501Y, also known as Nelly, is another spike protein mutation which appears to be associated with increased transmissibility. This mutation has been detected in the B117, B1351 and P1 strains, all variants of concern. The worry of so-called immune escape has also been hinted at with another spike protein mutation, E484K or EEK. EEK has been spotted in B1351 and P1.
Further, within less than a year, vaccines have been approved for emergency use by the FDA under the Emergency Use Authorization. There are 3 vaccines currently available: Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson. Pfizer and Moderna require 2 doses and are mRNA vaccines which do not use a virus. Rather, mRNA gives instructions to our cells to make a harmless protein, the spike protein, found on the surface of the virus, building our body's immune system to fight the virus. The Johnson & Johnson vaccine is different because it uses DNA rather than RNA and only requires 1 dose for immunity. This type of vaccine is called adenovirus vaccine, using a harmless virus to get into your cells. Though different, each vaccine has proven to be effective in preventing hospitalization and death from COVID-19.
Called mRNA vaccines started with the genetic sequence of the virus. They also decided to focus on the spike protein we talked about earlier. But instead of assembling and purifying that protein in a lab, they identified the part of the genetic sequence that creates it, and then took a much faster route by synthesizing mRNA and using that as the vaccine, which saved months of time and money. Once inside the body, the cell reads the mRNA and begins to make harmless spike proteins of its own. From there, your body's immune system recognizes the foreign threat and sounds the alarm. This is how the new COVID-19 vaccines from Pfizer and BioNTech and Moderna work. But the main drawback with an mRNA vaccine is that mRNA breaks down very easily. It has to be delivered inside a protective fatty barrier and kept ultra cold, which isn't super ideal for a vaccine that needs to reach all areas of the globe. Another effective new-to-consumer kind of vaccine works similarly, but uses DNA instead of mRNA, which is much more stable. The COVID-19 vaccines from AstraZeneca and Johnson & Johnson are this type. It doesn't require the ultra-cold conditions, but it does have its own drawbacks. To get the DNA into your cells, researchers use a harmless virus as a carrier. But over time, your body will build resistance to that virus, which means future doses using this carrier will become less and less effective, and the carrier will need to be updated.
Over 45% of American adults have been fully vaccinated. Mild side effects have been reported from the vaccines, such as sore arm from the injection, fever, nausea, chills, and muscle aches. In case of an allergic reaction, patients are asked to wait 15 minutes after the vaccine for monitoring. Even if an individual has been infected with COVID-19, they can still receive the vaccine to prevent another infection, though it is recommended to wait at least 90 days after being infected with COVID-19 to get the vaccine. With a high demand for vaccinations, multiple vaccination sites have opened in our area. Any resident in Riverside County can go to these vaccination sites: Costco Pharmacy, CVS Pharmacy, Rite Aid Pharmacy, Walgreens Pharmacy, or Moreno Valley, Sears Building. Ages 12 and up are now eligible for Pfizer, and ages 18 and over for Moderna and Johnson & Johnson. After receiving your first dose of the Pfizer or Moderna vaccine, you are expected to get a second dose. Depending on the vaccine that you received, there is a set limit of days that you have to wait before receiving the booster shot. If you received the Pfizer vaccine, you should wait at least 21 days before the second dose, while if you received Moderna, it is recommended to wait 28 days. The vaccine offers many benefits that will protect individuals from COVID-19. Those benefits include reducing risk of infection by creating antibodies, nearly eliminating severe illness or hospitalization. It is the safest way to build immunity against COVID-19, and we can go back to living our life without restrictions. Some potential risks of vaccination include severe allergic reactions, such as anaphylactic shock. May be risky injecting people over the age of 75 with underlying health conditions and those who are immunocompromised. It may cause temporary facial nerve paralysis in some people, Bell's palsy, a reaction to a viral infection. The 15-minute monitoring time after the vaccination is used to prevent any severe reactions from occurring. The risk of experiencing any of this is about 1 in 50,000.
Side effects like this, pain and redness in the arm where a person received their shot, are the most common. Dr. Kutika Kupali says they can even be a good sign.
So the reason for the symptoms is really because your immune system is revving up to develop those good antibodies that you need to help fight off the coronavirus if you were to come into contact with it.
So basically it's like a training for your immune system.
Yeah, that's a really good way to think about it.
Headaches, chills, fever, nausea, body aches, and in some cases even vomiting or diarrhea are normal, if a bit unpleasant.
I have been running to the bathroom. I feel like my body's shutting down.
People getting the 2-dose vaccines from Pfizer and Moderna may also feel different from one dose to the next. Many report feeling worse after the second shot.
Second COVID vaccine, the Pfizer shot, has me in the bed.
The second time you get the vaccine, your body's already experienced developing some of the antibodies, so your antibody response is going to be much higher, and so that's why those symptoms you develop are going to be a bit stronger.
But again, this isn't everyone. Doctors still don't have enough data to say one dose carries more severe side effects than the other, and whether the experience is different for people who've had COVID.
I was getting a little bit concerned, but I figured this was just an enlarged lymph node.
So some of the less common side effects that we've seen of the vaccine have been what we call lymphadenopathy or enlarged lymph nodes.
Though rare, this swelling tends to happen on the same side of the body as the injection.
It's a sign that your immune system isn't working. And you might notice when you get a cough or a cold, you get enlarged lymph nodes in your neck.
Also rare are cases where patients have reported heart issues, temporary paralysis to one side of the face, or serious allergic reactions resulting in rashes and difficulty breathing.
This is one of the reasons we have people wait after they get their vaccine.
Many rumors have been spread about the vaccine, which causes concern towards the efficacy of the vaccine. To debunk some common myths, we have Dr. Ivan Martinez, a virologist and associate professor in the West Virginia University School of Medicine, explain to us why we know these are myths.
This vaccine was not rushed. It's just a technology that we have right now where we were able to create this vaccine faster. But this vaccine followed the same type of steps that any other type of vaccine was developed before. They have to go to different phases. They have to be tested in animals. They have to test efficacy before the government give them, the green light. No, this vaccine will never fuse to your DNA. RNA and DNA are completely different type of molecules. RNA, when these RNA vaccines comes to your cells, they stay in the cytoplasm. They never go to your nucleus. The nucleus is when you have your DNA protected. So they never see each other. So there's no way this RNA can actually get involved or integrate to your genome. So there's absolutely no evidence. There's no way, at least from the scientist perspective, that this RNA will create any type of mutation or anything on your cells. Let me tell you that it's absolutely nothing like that in these vaccines. Nothing. It's a new technology, but they don't have any type of controlling thing. This is a very safe vaccine. I think you guys are used to, your phones that have chips and GPS. And I think you guys are not afraid because you guys understand how the phone works. So the more we can explain to you how a vaccine is made of, and you understand how the vaccines are safe, I think you're less going to be concerned about these myths and misinformation.